Good evening, everyone. Super excited to be here again on Wednesday. This is episode number 2 of Adventures in Comprehension. If you're wondering what in the world I'm talking about, last week, Wednesday, I went live announcing some really big goals for Adventures of Room 129. And one of those goals is that I want to go live with you every Wednesday at 8:30. And I'm going to be talking all things comprehension. So every week I have a brand new topic that is related to reading comprehension in some way. I've got them all planned out and ready to go, and I'll be coming to you live every Wednesday to just be able to sit down and chit chat with you about this really important topic and really break it down, and of course give you some awesome freebies. So super excited to be here with you tonight for episode number 2. We're going to be talking tonight about why and how it's really important to teach reading comprehension without any text at all. And anytime I would talk to teachers about this, I would really get those looks, the looks that you're probably giving me right now. And if you're not giving me that look and you're agreeing with me, great, that's awesome. But I really think that this is a really important topic to really talk about with teachers, to really break it down and understand the importance of why we should be doing this with our students, what benefits it has for them and their comprehension, and how it's going to help them improve as readers. So if this interests you, I suggest that you grab a seat, sit down, come join me. If you're grabbing the replay, no worries. But please leave me a comment and let me know that you're here, what grade you teach, where you're from. Hi, Carrie. I'm super excited, like I said, to be here. And I have a freebie for you. It's not like the most amazing freebie in the world, but it's something that you can use in your classroom right away. So you're going to want to stay tuned to figure out how to get that freebie. No need to take notes or anything like that. The freebie has lots of all the information that we're going to be talking about tonight in it already. So just sit back and listen, grab a drink, and come and join me. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, we're going to be talking tonight about how to and why it's important to teach comprehension, that's reading comprehension, without a text. And so I literally mean no book, I mean no paragraphs, no stories, no text at all. So I have 10 different reasons of why this is important and beneficial for every student in your classroom. And I know 10 sounds like a lot, but we'll go through them really quickly. And then we'll get to the other part of the live, which is part of your freebie, and you're going to want to stay tuned for that. So again, thank you. Hi, Amanda. Let me know what grade you teach and where you're from. Drop a comment, and we're going to get started. So, teaching without a text. So, reason number 1 is don't jump in to the deep end first. If you see my eyes going over here, it's because I have all my notes on this side and my camera on this side. So, that's why. Anyways, don't jump into the deep end first. If you are teaching a strategy, and for the whole night, I'm just going to talk about main idea. But you can change main idea for whatever comprehension skill or strategy that you would be teaching. So for example, main idea. If you are teaching main idea, and this is your first time, and by first time, I mean first time for the year, first time in a while, even if they're in 4th or 5th grade, clearly they should know what main idea means, but probably you need to review it. So whatever that first time feeling is, don't jump into the deep end. If you are trying to teach main idea and this is your first time, why are you throwing them in and asking them to actually find the main idea of a text right away? You have got to slow it down. We've got to break up the skill, and we have to really be able to look at this at a lot of different angles for all of our students to be able to understand the strategy first before they can apply it to any type of text. So a lot of teachers I see, they'll start, they're really gung-ho, they've got all their lessons ready to go, and Monday morning, and we're reading paragraphs already, and we're trying to underline with, crayons and color coding and all the fun, engaging activities. But hello, we haven't really broken down the strategy yet. So stop jumping in to the deep end right away. Take a few steps back and let's get them in. Hi, Laura. let's get them introduced to the strategy first before we actually ask them to apply. Remember, apply is really high on the rigor scale, and we want to make sure that they are able to do that and understand how and why and what and when to do all the steps to be able to apply it. So we want to make sure that we're not jumping into the deep end. Hey, Tanya. So number 2 is that you want to make sure that your students understand all of the fundamentals of the skill or the strategy without the pressure of understanding the text, okay? So you have all your students in your classroom, right? And you give them this awesome paragraph, and we're going to read it, and we're going to try to identify the main idea. But you got to think about all those students who struggle with comprehension, and you're asking them to actually comprehend a text. So we're having to comprehend, and I'm having to learn a new skill and apply it right away. Do you see how that can build up, and do you see how that can put a lot of roadblocks in front of a lot of students? And so it may not be that they don't understand main idea. It may be that they did not comprehend the text that you gave them in the first place to be able to apply the skill. So we have to make sure that they understand the fundamentals of the strategy itself before we actually give them a text to comprehend. So that's like one of the big reasons. If you walk away with anything, that's it right there. Okay, so number 3, another reason why we should teach without any text when we're talking about reading comprehension. It takes away distractions. So again, you just presented them this wonderful text. Again, we're talking about main idea. You have just given them however many words and concepts to think about, connections that they may be making, which, yeah, that's all great. But what are we really wanting them to do on these first few days? We want them to learn and understand the strategy of main idea. We want them to understand what main idea means, what details are, how or what are the different ways that I can find the main idea of a text, how and why are details supporting the main idea. Again, this video is not about main idea, but that's the example that I'm going to be using throughout the video. So we want to make sure we're taking away all of these distractions for our students by not giving them an actual text those first at least day, if not a day or two, into the learning about the strategy. Okay, so reason number 4. It creates a more solid foundation for the strategy that you are now able to build upon. So when you think about that very first day, those first few days in, if you can teach that strategy, main idea, again, is my example for the night, you can teach that strategy without any text, and they are learning just about the strategy, the ins and outs, the ups and downs, looking at it from all different angles and in different ways. It's going to take some creativity, I promise you that. But if we can do that, think of the foundation you are now building for your students, for all of them, because think about it, your low levels and your high level students can all benefit, and I'm jumping ahead to another one, but anyways, we can all benefit from doing this. We are all going to be understanding and learning about the strategy and building that solid foundation before we actually jump into reading a text and having to comprehend and having to apply the strategy. So that's a good one too. All right, number 5, again, this is the 5th reason why and how and everything we should not be teaching reading comprehension with a text, or why we should be teaching without a text. Anyways, number 5. Students are going to be able to be a lot more analytical of the strategy itself. So we want our students to understand the strategy. We want our students to eventually be able to apply it to any text that they, are reading and independently reading a text, whatever, that looks like on their end. However, at the beginning, we want them to really be able to be analytical and ask questions about the strategy and why does this work here but it doesn't work here, and how would it work if I did this, and really understand and ask themselves those self-reflecting questions and truly be analytical about the strategy. And we can't really do that really well if we are, again, trying to comprehend an entire text on top of it. Make sure you give them time to be analytical of the strategy before you really jump in and have them apply it. Okay, number 6, and I kind of mentioned this just a minute ago, but it applies to multiple reading levels at once. Can I get some hearts for that one right there? Because hello, how hard is it when we are trying to teach reading comprehension and I have probably 4 or 5 different reading levels in my classroom, maybe more, but yet this is allowing all of my students to be able to understand the strategy within the same lesson that I'm really not even having to differentiate, right? So I can break this strategy down. We're going to be able to look at this strategy, analyze it, no distractions, no text whatsoever, and all of my kids are going to benefit from this lesson. So can I get an amen from that, right? Okay. So number 7, I'm kind of going through these quickly, but like I said, your freebie has all this written down for you. So if you're loving all this, and you're like, man, I hope I can remember all this, I got you covered. No worries. So number 7 is that students can be able to take away what you've just given them, no matter if they're a low reader or an advanced reader, they can take away everything that they've learned about that exact strategy, and they now can apply it on their level of comprehension. So all you're now in the future of that week or whatever you're looking at, you're planning out your week and you're trying to teach without a text on Monday and Tuesday. So let's say Wednesday and Thursday now you want to actually introduce some text and have them apply it and start going that way. Now all you have to do is really differentiate the text because they understand that strategy so well that they can apply it to whatever level of text that they are ready for. So that's really important. Number 8 is that it keeps everything black and white. I love math for that reason right there. Math is very black and white. There are rules to follow. There are steps to follow. ABC, done, right? Reading comprehension is so much more in depth than that. It's so many shades of gray that it's hard to teach. And when we take away this text, when we teach reading strategies and skills without a text at all, it helps make reading a lot more black and white. I get it. I don't get it. These are the steps. This is what I do. I understand it now. Now I can apply it later to a text. All right, only 2 more to go. Number 9 is that it focuses a lot more on the vocabulary of the strategy. And this is something, as I've been doing a lot of my research, as I've been in my classroom myself, teaching, this is something that I have found to be very beneficial. If I'm removing that text out of the way, it really allows my students to hone in on all of the vocabulary that's really important to know and understand when I'm teaching them some sort of reading strategy or skill. So they understand what main idea means. They understand what supporting details mean. That's a really bad example because there's really only 2 words for that one. But if you're thinking about theme and all the words that go along with theme, or if we're thinking about making inferences, or all of those strategies have very rich vocabulary that go along with them. And when I'm not trying to comprehend a text and apply it and do all that thinking, and I don't even know what the words mean yet, that's hard. Let's give them a chance to take away that text, really understand the strategy, and they're going to be able to understand and get that vocab in their brains a lot more concretely than they did before. So vocab is a benefit really to doing this as well. All right, so we're ready for number 10. And if you're just now joining me, again, shoot me a comment. Let me know that you're joining, what grade, where you're from. You're going to want to go back and catch the replay because we just went through 9 different reasons why it is so important to teach without a text. And I'm talking about reading comprehension. So, yeah, it's that important. So we're on number 10. Number 10 is that it is so much quicker and so much easier for teachers to model the strategy at the very beginning for students. If I don't have a text that I'm having to read for my kids, and then I'm having to model the strategy, and then in the guided practice, we're having to read another text, and we're having to do the strategy together, that's also time consuming. And believe me, there is a time and a place for that, and it's very, very important. But at the beginning, when I'm trying to understand the vocabulary and look at it analytically and ask some questions and understand the strategy as a whole, if I'm doing it without a text, I'm now able to model, and I have so much more time to model, right? I'm able to get in front of my students and really show them what this strategy can be or what it can do and what it means and how it's going to help me be a better reader. And then my students are going to be able to learn from me a lot better and a lot deeper than they did before, when I was maybe able to model it one time because it took forever to read the text. And then it took forever for us to read the text on the guided reading part or the guided practice part. So you get a lot more modeling time and a lot more modeling practice for your students when you take that text away. So what do you think? 10 reasons why it is so important to teach reading comprehension without any text, okay? So I have a feeling, and give me some hearts if you're with me, that you're thinking, okay, this is great, and I agree with you, Sierra. I love this. I see Shelly said, I love this video already. Let me know what you're thinking, what questions you have. Leave some comments for me. But I bet you're thinking, how do I do this? The majority of our teaching, reading comprehension, comes from text, right? We have this great lesson, I have this activity, and I have this center, and all this stuff. You can still use all of that. Absolutely can. But how do I start? How do I find an engaging activity that's going to allow me to do this, right? So that's where my freebie comes into play. So if you, I believe it's over one of the sides somewhere, find the description of this live video, and I have got 2 links for you. One, I gave you the link for my new Facebook group, because if you are not in it, you're going to want to join it. And then the second link is the link to your freebie. So again, this is the first page. These are the 10 different things that I just went through. So like I said, I've got you. No reason to worry about remembering all those. But this is what you're going to want to go grab. So this is page 2. And what I have done for you here is I have given you 12 different lesson ideas on how to teach reading comprehension without any text. What? Yes, I did. Totally did. So now I did it for 12 different reading skills and strategies. So you can see them up here at the top. So I've got main idea, inferences, cause and effect. I was not able to do it for every single strategy and skill, because that would have been a really, really big freebie, right? But I'm getting you started. I've given you 12 different lesson ideas. So I'm going to go through like maybe 2 or 3 of them real quick, just so you can get a feel for what this is. But go ahead and download it while I'm talking. You can click on that. You can look through it with me. I'm going to go through some of my favorites. I'm looking. Okay, so cause and effect. Cause and effect is a good one. This one is really fun. So cause and effect is all about 2 events that have a relationship together, right? You know that, you're a teacher. So what if we did this? What if we gave each student a different cause and effect picture, and those causes and effect pictures represented, I'm either a cause or I'm either an effect, right? And I've got a partner somewhere in the room and I don't know who they are. But what I have to do is I have to get up out of my seat. I don't take the card with me, but I have to walk around and I have to silently act out my event, my part of the cause or my part of the effect. And I am looking, silently looking for my partner who is somehow representing the other part of me. So I'm looking for something that caused me, or I'm looking for something that I could have caused. So it's great because it involves a lot of movement. We get our kids up. They're really being observant. They're really having to watch and think about what cause and effect means. Because, again, I'm looking for something or someone that caused me to happen, or I'm looking for someone that I caused to happen. So it really hones in on the fact that it's about relationships. Because a lot of times when we get into cause and effect and we're trying to identify, oh, this is the cause and this is the effect, they're identifying things that have no relation to each other at all. Now, they may be about the same topic because they're in the same paragraph, but they're not related. So this is a way to get them to truly understand that relationship between cause and effect, which one came first, which one caused the other, and again, no text at all, right? All you have to do is come up with some picture cards and you can Google for the pictures, right? No big deal. I love that one. Let me look here. Ooh, I love this one. Making connections. So this is a good one. And this one's difficult because a lot of times our students like to make those superficial connections that really aren't deep, right, and meaningful. Those are the ones we want them to make. So here's an activity that you can do at the beginning while you're really trying to introduce these different types of connections, of making connections. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find books, obviously for text-to-text connections or self-to-text or whatever. You're going to want to find pictures of other things or objects around your classroom that could represent different events in a book. So each kid, and you're going to put them in small groups of like maybe 6 or 7. I know that sounds large, but you're going to want a little bit larger group than your normal like 3 or 4. So you are going to give each student either one of the books or the image or the object or something. Every kid is holding something, right? They can set it at their feet or they can sit on the ground and put it in their lap. And then you also have a spool of thread. No, not thread, yarn, the thicker stuff, right? You've got a spool of yarn. And you're going to have one student start, and they're going to look at all the other students in the group. So I'm looking at all the kids who are sitting in my circle. I'm looking at the objects that they have. And I'm trying to think of a way that I can connect to something that one of them has. Maybe one of them has a bucket and a shovel. I don't know, because you did a beach thing last year, and it was in your closet. I can then toss the spool of yarn to them, but I'm holding on to the beginning. I toss the spool of yarn to them, and I'm making a connection, and I'm explaining my connection to my group, right? Then that's that student's turn. They're looking at the other objects. They're going to toss the yarn to someone, and they're going to make a connection. And you're going to talk about the different types of connections as you make all of these. Again, it's about going deeper, and it's about understanding what connections are and how they're important to us and our schema and our memory before we introduce a text. So I love that one. It's super fun, and it really doesn't require a lot of prep time because you can just run around your classroom and find stuff, find books, and sometimes I print off a few pictures off of Google because like I got an idea in my mind, and Google has better than what I can find in my classroom. Anyways, I have been chatting with you now for almost 30 minutes about why and how to teach reading comprehension without using any text at all. If you stuck with me through that whole time, you are awesome. I love you. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you love your freebie. Again, you're going to want to download it because I only went over 2 of these, and there are 12 of them. So make sure you grab it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this whole concept. Do you do this? Is this something that you think about at the beginning of the week? Do you sit down to lesson plan, and do you think about, okay, I'm going to start off the week, and we're not going to get any I'm not going to use any text, but we're going to do this with our skill for the week or this for our strategy for the week. Is this something you consciously think about? I challenge you to try it for a few weeks, for a few different skills, and on Friday, see what difference it made for your students. See how much more they were able to apply the strategy later in the week because you took the time to truly teach the skill or the strategy without the added stress and distractions of the comprehension. So if you have any questions, let me know. Make sure you grab your freebie. Make sure to join us in our Facebook group. There's a lot of great things happening in there. And of course, leave me any comments or questions that you have. Thank you so much for joining me. Next week, Wednesday, 8:30. Make sure you hit the button so you can be notified when I go live. That way you don't have to worry about missing it because I've got a lot of great things next week too. So I will see you all then. Bye.